Been a lot of talk lately about what the law firm of the future is going to look like. And I would argue that there's, when we think about the future, whether it's a year ahead or multiple years ahead, the biggest thing and the biggest lesson I feel that many businesses have learned as COVID has hit and the amount that they've been exposed. So you see, leaders who were, let's say, not so strong leaders have been exposed, and those challenges. Great leaders have also been exposed in a positive way. Teams that were not aligned, they're having more struggles and challenges now. If you did not have a robust, well-rounded organization, that you're paying the price for it today. I mean, the biggest thing that I can say as we look to the law firm of the future is, and this is a positive ultimately, is that it's creating a greater necessity to have strong fundamentals overall as a business. So you can no longer focus on the short-term drivers solely as ways to drive new business. So if you were reliant upon any one source of let's say lead sources or something like that was very much short-term driving, and either that dried up or you stopped investing in it, or what have you. Let's say consumer behavior simply changed, and that has now taken you, just made you invisible. It not only has the phone has stopped ringing, but it's also the fact that perhaps the firm has even disappeared because you were relying on, whether it's a lead service, just generally, let's say PPC, something like that, or any one source. It doesn't even matter what it is. And the reality of it is before that used to work. You could simply throw money into something that drives short-term new business, and that would work well for as long as it worked. But when something like COVID happens, you see the level of exposure and the necessity to have such a strong, well-rounded organization. So you can no longer play the short game. Okay, and a lot of firms were playing the short game. How many firms do you know that were packing their acorns, getting all ready for the winter time, that were managing cash flow properly, that were, keeping 3 to 6 months cash in reserves just in case something happened? Not many. And the reality of it is, because of that short-term focus, they're exposed when in an event like this that could be, once in a lifetime, once in, several decades, or what have you. You don't have a bulletproof law firm. So where we do see a shift happening is a focus on the long game. So now you can't just succeed in terms of having a couple good cases or a couple, let's say you found some hack or some trick or whatever it is. You have to build a well-rounded organization. And this is everything from having a clear, unique value proposition. What differentiates you from all of your competitors? Why should someone hire you as opposed to another firm? An aligned team and culture. Culture used to be one of those cute words, but now you're realizing that when you have that true alignment, when you've got A players, you don't have the same accountability issues or trust issues when everybody goes remote. The other thing is world-class client experience. You now have to see that as a competitive differentiator. You've got to leverage technology. If you fail to adapt and adjust in leveraging technology, you will be left behind. That's just the nature of what's happening. Having robust processes. Everybody talks about systems and processes, but when COVID hit, we're seeing a lot of businesses, ourselves included, that said, hey, we're not as good as we think we are. We've got a lot of room for improvement here. And then not just process, but you look at outside of your firm, the impact that you have to make in your community as a thought leader. And finally, building a strong brand. This is the ultimate display of playing the long game when you focus on building a great brand. And this exists not just by default, as it does with most businesses, but by design. This is what people think about you when you're not in the room, what they say about you, ultimately how you're perceived in your community. Do people trust you? Do they like you? Are you credible? All those different things. And if you ignored all these fundamentals and were essentially YOLOing it previously, well, you found yourself exposed and in a world of pain right now. But to tell you optimistically, these aspects can no longer be ignored, and it's the catalyst behind the change that the growth-minded firm leaders are going to say, hey, you know what? We've got to tighten up. We've got to make sure that not only are we, we've got the right processes, the right team, the right culture, we're leveraging technology, like we're going to build a great business here. We're not going to simply rely on short-term wins and short-term drivers. We're going to build this for the long term so that if and when, more importantly, the next big, cataclysmic event takes place, we're going to be prepared for this. We're going to manage our cash flow differently. We're going to, build long-lasting relationships with our team, with our partners. We're going to reinforce the way in which we communicate with our clients and the service that we provide. All those different things that, now you're going to start packing and stacking those acorns, and that is what the law firm of the future looks like. That it's a fundamentally strong business. That it is no longer based upon, a strong verdict. Someone got lucky, they got a case tipped their way, or they found some honeypot like lead source that's continuing to yield new leads. They have now built a fundamental business that's not reliant upon any one source, any one thing, any one strategy. That now this is a business and a law firm that's built to last. So if this is the catalyst that drives more firm owners to focus on those fundamentals and building just a better business, focusing on their leadership, on their team, on their culture, all of those different aspects, then you might look back at this time and say, you know what? That was the catalyst that made us the firm that we are today, and you will be the law firm of the future.